Hello, and welcome to It's Already In You podcast. We are your hosts, Liz
and Janine, nutrition and movement experts, mothers and business owners, obsessed with helping you quiet the noise of diet culture.
Seeing through the false advertising and promises of our food and fitness industries, helping you discover that everything you need to upgrade your health and well-being is already in you. We are back and loving doing these episodes together. We've been hearing awesome feedback and we are going to keep it going. Today we're talking about separating the feelings, the thoughts of good and bad when it comes to food choices. I know for me, I have heard and I know I've said I was good today or I was bad today, and it was equating to what I put in my mouth, in my body, or what I didn't. And now, further away from that mindset, really kind of working on myself and realizing that food and self-worth are not directly related. I'm much more aware that this is something people say all the time. And I feel like with clients, I am really or correcting them often to kind of help them reprogram their thoughts. Like, oh, how was your weekend? I was so bad this weekend. I did this and I did this and I drank and I ate this. And what we know and what we'll talk more about on this episode is that when you get caught up in that like mental spin of food is who you are and what you deserve or not deserve, you are really kind of using all of this energy to not like make choices, not look outside of the box, not like look at all of the options that are around you, but instead kind of stay stuck inside of you.
Yeah. And wasting a lot of time that you could just jump back into, doing what you thought you should be doing, right? So I say this with clients a lot, like, you have clients that will tell you they were bad during the weekend and, so now they're just going to start next Monday or they're going to start January 1st or they're going to, so this is where I think it's important to realize that, instead of looking at it like it was bad, it was just a day that you didn't make the best choices for yourself. It didn't make you feel good, but then the next day is an opportunity or the next meal is an opportunity to jump back into eating healthier or more nutritious or, drinking more water or whatever it is that you feel that wasn't good during that. But it doesn't define you as, your health or your fitness level or or you as a person.
Your heart, your soul,
right.
Any of that stuff.
Like, it's like saying that the way you look on the outside is whether or not you're beautiful, right? From what's inside of you to the way that you treat other people to the way you treat yourself is much different than the food that you consume or the things that you do.
Yeah.
Right? It's totally a separate or should be a separate mentality.
Absolutely. And I think that what happens is that when we get into kind of that cycle of like kind of like self-deprecation or, connecting something, food is supposed to give us life. Not supposed to. Food gives us life. Food is our source of like optimal health and thriving and abundance. Like all of those words are so amazing, right? And when we connect food and with a slew of negative words and feelings, we are essentially kind of getting stuck, right? And we're over time training our thoughts and essentially training our body and health to connect food to maybe a negative thought or a scary thought or an overwhelming thought. And think of anything else in your life that you might feel like you repetitively have a scary or overwhelming or negative or not a positive experience with. Usually we don't want to spend time with it. Right. We don't want to look at it. We don't want to learn more about it. We're just kind of like, doing those things in secrecy or just not thinking through the steps. And what I see a lot is because of that, we make emotional choices or uninformed choices, or we're not looking further into learning about what we're putting into our body.
Right.
And then you feel bad, your body feels bad, and your mind, and you're like, oh, now I need to punish myself. I need to not eat the next morning because I ate too much at night. And you get onto this cycle of, not eating in a way that doesn't make you feel good, and then recognizing that somehow, and then feeling like you need to punish yourself or restrict or deprive yourself and continue that negative association with food. And I really do think that is more common than not.
Yes.
I would say most women go through a period of their life with some disordered eating. They have a view or an approach to food that isn't meant, or it doesn't make them feel good. It is not based off the space of nutrition and life.
Yeah.
There is a emotional component and cycle that they're wrapped in. And that can be a great learning experience, because when you're like, enough is enough, I need to make changes.
Yes.
To make those true lifestyle health changes, usually you have to make all these like amazing choices.
Yeah.
That might not feel so amazing in the beginning.
Yeah. And that it totally relates to the evolution of our food system too, right?
Yeah.
Like especially women's connection to what's healthy, what's not, what's going to cause weight gain, what's going to help weight loss, right? Like, I don't know why, but Snackwell cookies keep jumping into my head about like when I can remember my mom, like, she would buy those cookies by like the case full.
Yeah.
And you'd eat a whole thing of them and think like, I'm going to lose weight because these cookies are, there's really no calories in them or whatever it was. And, I think we do that a lot with food. Like, this is the food that's going to make us thinner, or smaller, or skinny, or, and this is the food that's going to make us gain weight. And sadly, we needed more education to help us navigate through that and understand that those are really not true statements that you're telling yourself.
Totally. Yeah. And we're seeing so clearly now that like weight is can be one weight gain, or unhealthy weight gain can be one consequence of poor food choices, but it is by far not the only one. You can be, a healthy weight for your body and have many other things going on, mental health, anxiety, sinus issue. I mean, the list is very long because, of the choices that we make and what we put into our body. So that is something that's like kind of like outdated, that thought of like what we eat either makes us thin or makes us overweight.
Right. And the whole calories in, calories
and if
out
you're thin,
too.
You're healthy, and if you're overweight, you're unhealthy. And that is not the case at all. And, we have a chunk of time of the evolving food industry that has really gotten into that ultra processed foods to have enough data to see that that's not the only end all be all. You go to the doctors and they take your BMI. I personally think that's a crock in terms of like defining
useless.
Your health.
Yeah.
Like that's not at all what's going on with your digestion.
And we're still teaching that in curriculum.
Yes. And I love to learn. I am obsessed with the body, but I really, for me and for my clients and, what I practice and teach really doesn't have a lot to do with numbers. So numbers on the scale, numbers of counting calories, none of how do you feel? What are you putting into your body that's like real and whole? Like, let's just spend some time like with your thoughts and your breath and your choices and get away from all of that outer distraction. That again, this is the theme, you guys, we've been taught, like we need to like take some responsibility back. And so one more thing I just want to say, and I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are, Janine, is that responsibility sometimes can feel a little black or white. Like some people, it might feel harsh. Like you do need to, I'm not going to say it's okay here to, to have like Takis or like, a green drink with blue balls floating in it. Like that is not okay. And a lot of the good or bad is not good or bad you. It's I feel healthy or unhealthy from these choices. I feel healthy/good, or I feel unhealthy/bad. Like I feel it in my body, but I am not it. And if we can program or we can change that perspective and practice saying that, I made food choices and I feel yucky after this weekend. I feel something.
Yes.
Then you take responsibility because you know that those choices made you feel that way. So maybe I'll make a couple different choices and I will learn that those choices make me feel better. If we're stuck in I'm bad, I'm good, I'm bad, I'm good, why would you want to move into that? I don't want to spend time with someone that I think stinks,
right,
you know?
Right. And you know, I agree with that 100%, Liz. I think what's difficult is we've gotten into such a culture or mindset that we're so scared though of like saying these things, right? To our clients, like you don't want to tell them not to have that, right? You see all these influencers and social media experts that are saying, you know, if you want to eat the Oreos, eat the Oreos. And you know, there is that mindset, like if you don't eat the Oreo, then you'll eat 10 other things that were, you know, worse than the Oreo or whatever, however you want to look at that. But I do feel like there's options and ways that you can feel better about what you're eating. And then you won't go into that cycle of I didn't have it or I had it and now I'm going to gorge or I'm going to, you know, like you'll get into a healthier space of understanding this doesn't make my body feel good, but I can enjoy, you know, this homemade chocolate chip cookie with all ingredients that I identify and understand what is going into my body and feel a little bit better about it, right? But not being good or bad because you had a cookie. But just understanding, you know, how it makes you feel. And that if one makes you feel better than the other, then obviously there's something to that. Yeah, kind of being like a student of self. And, you know, we start all from different places. I had a client yesterday and, you know, I'm not going to, for me to tell her the optimal place to be with like hydration or whatever that's best for her body and she's drinking no water. We're just trying to get 1 cup of water in. So this looks different for everybody. If going back to the Oreo cookie, like if you do eat a sleeve of Oreo cookies, you know, trying to just be like, well, why am I doing that? Is it emotional? Is it nutritional holes? Like, what is it? And is it addictive?
Is it addictive? And just start making small, different choices. You know, I think it is important for us to really have that line of being honest here and clear on what our beliefs are and what we know to be healthy for you, but also to understand that this is the world that we live in. And we understand that it's not going to be like, okay, Janine, you said I can't eat the Oreo cookie, but I'm eating, you know, 10 a day. Maybe it's 5 a day for a little bit. And you start to just experiment with something different because you have trained your taste buds to crave certain things. There is a shift. You have to shift that pendulum with different choices. And I think that a lot of people, you know, get stuck or overwhelmed and it goes back to like, I suck. Why can't I do this? Why can't I get this? I know I want to feel healthier. I have no willpower. What's wrong with me? And it's really not that. It really isn't. I mean, there is obviously, you know, commitment and choice that we have. But in the beginning, if you are so far from kind of that space of like intuitive, like understanding, it is going to take like, you know, you like really just like taking those like baby steps and understanding that is okay and that is your process and your body needs time to catch on. You know, cravings for most people have to do with nutritional deficiencies or your blood sugar being off. And so if you are, you know, not eating all day and just drinking coffee and you're doing like, you know, these swings of energy and fatigue and you get home and you like go house on your cabinet, there is a reason why your body is like craving. And so it's not that you are bad. It's that.
And the fact that our ultra processed food is so highly addictive.
And zero nutrition. And your body needs nutrition to live. So your body is like, hello, like I need to.
For more.
And it's going to be more, but you're not filling those nutritional holes. So it's going to keep asking for more until it gets what it needs to essentially live. And so to separate that and understand that is like taking so much weight off of your shoulders to be like, no, I'm going to keep doing this pattern because my body is like almost like controlling me, and in terms of like telling me like, you need food. Right. And I've been kind of brainwashed to think that this is the food that's going to fill the hole.
We're also going after what we want to hear.
Yeah.
So we're looking for, who can I listen to that's going to tell me what I want to hear instead of what you need to hear, right?
Yeah.
So I think the honesty that we want to share here, like again, not ever pointing a finger or making someone feel like they did the wrong thing.
Yeah. Or your life should look like our life or whatever. Like, we get it.
Yeah. But understanding the truth and knowing that you have to make decisions that are going to be better for you.
Yeah.
And like Liz said, maybe it is 5 Oreo cookies instead of 10. I have clients that will come in and be like, I hear I should not eat bananas. But meanwhile, they're going to Dunkin' Donuts in the morning and having a donut and a coffee. They're going, to a supermarket and grabbing a packaged sandwich and a bag of chips for lunch. The banana is not the problem, right? Like, if you think at how simplistic that is this right or wrong, or if you think about how simplistic that is, it's like, keep the banana in the diet. There's other things that you can take out, right? And just to make this clear, there is nothing wrong with bananas.
There is nothing wrong with
There's
bananas.
all good things about bananas, right? Like, we could name a number of nutrients and the importance of having bananas in our diet.
Of course.
Which will be another episode at some point. But really unpacking that statement, like, I hear there's too much sugar in a banana and I shouldn't have it in my diet, when you look at that overall diet and say, whoa.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many other things that are not natural or not giving you nutrients. And just thinking more on those lines.
Yes.
Like, these small changes, great, but understanding that, maybe thinking about what we should be putting into our diet to start.
Yes. Yeah. So talk about that, because we were talking about this before we started recording, like crowding out the plate. Yeah.
So
what is that?
Really thinking about, when you look at your plate and thinking about what is nutrient dense, and these words are going to be like, sound familiar to you because they're in the space and their taglines and branded,
trendy. Yeah.
So we talk a lot about nutrient density, right? And caloric density. And of course, we want our food to be more nutrient dense and less calorically dense.
Yeah.
However, not to get too sciencey and get out of the layman's terms of things, but like, you spoke to, like, we have to stop thinking about like the food that's going to make us gain weight versus the food that doesn't, or, we talk like calories in, calories out. Now there's definite science that's showing us that we don't absorb all calories the same.
Yeah,
right?
Of course.
And I can tell you, like, hands up, like, I was that fitness professional that would say, you were on this diet, it made you lose weight. I could put you on the cake diet and make you lose weight, right? Like, because we were very much taught that calories in, calories out. 3,500 calories equals a pound, right? So if you exercise 3,500 calories in a week, you're going to lose a pound.
Yes.
If you eat less 3,500 calories for the week, you're going to lose a pound, right? Or gain it, or
of course,
or whatever being said, like specifically to those calories in, calories out. We've learned so much more than that, right? Like how you absorb those calories, what your body's doing with those nutrients. I talk to my clients a lot about that crowding out approach. Like, if you eat a donut, and that donut goes through, you say donut to people and the saliva starts, right, in their mouth, because that digestive system starts to activate just even thinking about the food, right? But then you put it in your mouth and your taste buds are like, ooh, this tastes good, right? But then it starts to go down into your systems and your intestines and your stomach, and it gets there, and we have these nerve endings in our belly. We have more in our stomach, these nerve endings, than we do in our spinal column, right?
Yeah.
And we're just learning this. And our stomachs will say, oh, okay, I don't I'm not getting any nutrients from this food.
I don't know what this is.
It's not filling me up. It's not satisfying me. I don't know what this is, right? So give me more, right? And I speak to how many Krispy Kreme donuts could you put down? You could eat a dozen Krispy Kreme donuts.
A whole bag of chips.
Right? And not feel full ever. But your body does not respond the same way if you eat cauliflower or kale or Swiss chard, right?
Yeah.
Like that you put into your mouth. And as you get more comfortable with exploring food and the nutrient dense foods and the way you cook it and the way you prepare it, it does taste good. So your saliva will start the same way as that donut.
Yeah.
But as it goes into your system, there are fireworks going off in your body.
Totally.
Your bloodstream, your muscular system, your every system in your body is saying, whoa, I need this.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to do so much on a cellular level.
Yeah.
Food affects us, right?
Yeah.
So we're getting these nutrients and we're getting satisfied. And all of a sudden our body's like, oh, I'm good.
I'm full.
I'm full.
Yeah.
I feel good. I know what I'm going to do with these nutrients and where I'm going to send them out into my body for my immune system, for my beautiful hair and my skin and my aging process. And, you know, there's so much like excitement to be had when your body, that's why you look across the table and see your best friend eating the food that you made and you know it's so nutrient dense and it's exciting. Or you prepare food with your family and you're excited about eating it, right?
Yeah.
There's so much to be said about that plate and what's on it.
Yeah.
And at first, again, not getting too excited that we're going to like start throwing things out of our diet and then say, oh no, I'm missing this or missing that. But adding things to our diet that are going to make us feel so satisfied and so good about what our choices were.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's exactly that's how I feel about crowding out. And that is one of the things that when I'm working with someone who is starting their nutritional journey, discovering, trying to really commit to making their best choices, that is usually where I'll start with them, is with the crowding out. I really don't even talk too much about what I think they should, start to like not eat or let go. I really do believe exactly what you said. When you start inviting and when you start consistently eating foods that your body understands, your body needs, your body knows what to do with, you will start to recognize, because it is meant for your body. Your body will start to give you information and communication of, oh, thank you for that. Your digestion will start to pick up. You'll start to sleep better. Maybe, you feel a little less anxious. You start to notice that you're getting colds a little bit less. You will start to feel things pretty fast. Your body wants to be healthy. Your body wants to heal. And I think from a mental point of view, going back to where we started this episode of good or bad, if you're not spending your time focusing on all the quote unquote bad things you're eating, and you're really trying to make a good, healthy, loving relationship with the good things you're eating, adding in, inviting in, your body is going to help you. You're not alone. Your choice, your choices support your body, and your body will support you. Your mind, your energy, all of those things will support. And then the outer body, the thing that starts a lot of people out on a health journey, is like, I'm unhappy with the way that I look from the outside, will then start to change in a way that, again, supports you from a different point of view. So, if you're listening to this at home and you're like, I really want to start making some different changes, I can identify with this good and bad cycle. We really encourage you to start with this place of crowding out and adding in, focus on adding in and breaking the habit of I'm less than, I need to eat less than, I'm restricting, and this pattern of associating food with negative. And don't even really start at a place of like, what am I ashamed about? Create this like loving relationship with food and what it does for you. And I really strongly believe that that will grow, and the things that don't serve you and maybe don't feel good will naturally start to go away. Is it that simple all the time? No. But I really do think that is like the most loving place to start if you're finding yourself connecting your self-worth with, the way that you feed yourself.
Right. And having gratitude for that your body will tell you that this is good, right? And it may not feel good at the first.
Yep.
Like, I have so many people that say, I started to eat healthy. I felt worse than I did before. Well, your body's going to go through a detox process.
Yes, definitely.
It's like anything. If you stop smoking, your body feels like crap.
Shit, yeah.
Right? Like if anything that becomes a habit or that is a habitual thing that you do in your life, if you remove it, you're not going to feel good at first.
Yeah.
So you have to embrace that change and be mindful about eating and what you're doing. But I want to say, Liz, what would you say, to end this episode and going into our next one, but leaving everybody with, like, if you were to give 3, and it's said, right?
Yes.
The number 3 is like something that people can grasp. If you were to say, like, 3 things that we can do to start making change and simple change, what would it be?
I would start outside of the crowding out, because this is kind of within that process. I would say number 1 would be to have 6 different fruits and vegetables a day. So be able to say, I had berries, cauliflower, a sweet potato, cucumber, be able to identify 6 different colors, 6 different fruits and vegetables every single day.
Yes.
That's where I would start. Number 2 is I would begin to carve out a little bit of time for food prep, cook. That's going to look different for every single person, but I would start to create some time that I am thinking about how I'm going to feed myself and taking some personal responsibility, touching. I swear to you, you guys, anytime I spend some time in the kitchen, sometimes it feels like a chore and sometimes it really is, but most of the time getting there can be like, I have to do this because my health and my children's health and my family's health is a priority.
Yes.
But I feel like it's therapeutic. I feel so good when I look in my fridge and I see, even if it's just like fruits and vegetables cut up, hummuses, whatever, all available for us throughout the week or for the couple days, I feel instantly good.
Yes.
So more fruits and vegetables, carving some time out to cook. And then I honestly would say working on your mindset around how you feel about yourself in relationship to food. You can give yourself all the actions all day long, but if we're not working on, how we feel about food and our relationship with it and separating the self-worth, and creating a positive, empowering space, we just end up kind of cycling through. So whether that is working with someone, getting some support from someone who maybe might know more about this topic than you and can give you some information and support. Maybe that is some meditation or some, journaling around your relationship with food and trying to figure out why you keep coming back to maybe some choices that don't feel great for you. But your mind really leads your decision making. And when things get hard or you're going to, 10 social events and that drinking and eating crap food for 10 days in a row is not what you want to do, how is your mind supporting your decisions and not feeling like I'm that weird person eating, something that isn't not great.
Yes.
So those are my 3. Do you have 3?
They might be very similar. I think that the first one would, in addition to the crowding out, I would say the stop worrying about the numbers and really think about the nutrient density and looking at what's in the foods that you're eating, the good foods, the whole foods, the foods that are going to give you the most bang for your buck don't have an ingredient list, right? They are just what they are. So I would say try and think about having more of that in your life. And 2 would be to really think about starting to read labels. And one of my favorite authors is Michael Pollan, and I'm going to use his example of if something has more than 5 ingredients, probably should avoid it. You should be able to identify everything that's in the food that you're eating. And if it lasts longer than your life expectancy, it's probably not something that you should eat.
Absolutely.
And then finally, I think taking the time to sit down and chew and slow down and taste your food.
Yeah.
And sort of reconnect with what food tastes like, right? Because we've been so exposed to artificial flavorings and sweeteners and, you know, things that are lasting longer in our cabinets and our refrigerator, the tastes are changing, and our taste buds are changing. So to reconnect with real food and slow it down, and maybe at first, you know, you identify that, ooh, I'm not loving this.
Yeah.
You know, reconnecting in the kitchen, and it can be really therapeutic to get in there and, you know, and find what you love better about it and what you don't like, right? Like I can tell you I'm in the process of trying to make sourdough bread, and I'm not a baker. So I'm getting really frustrated in the kitchen.
It is a process.
I'm frustrated.
Yeah.
I'm Italian. I go in the kitchen, I throw things together. They taste amazing.
Yes.
Right? Or I shouldn't say that because I sound like I'm patting myself on the back.
No, you should.
But they do taste good, right? Can I bake? No, I'm terrible at baking. I can't follow directions. I can't. People want me to put recipes out. I'm like, but I don't cook like that, right?
Yeah.
So am I gonna be somebody that makes sourdough bread all the time? Probably not.
Yeah.
Probably not gonna be me unless I get really comfortable with it, which is gonna take time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go, you know, buy my favorite Iggy sourdough bread, and I'm going to be okay with that.
Yeah.
And that's something that you have to identify. Like,
of course.
What can you add to your plate right now on the literal and on the, you know, more ambiguous scale, but like what is going to make you more comfortable and what is going to drive you crazy and that you're not going to want to do it.
And you won't do it.
And you won't do it.
Yeah.
So, you know, knowing those things is important. And identifying those within yourself.
Absolutely. Yes. And knowing that they're different from person to person. So just like going in. Well, this has been awesome. I am excited to hear from you guys. We are excited to hear from you guys. If you have any feedback, if you want to learn more and hear more episodes regarding anything that we're talking about, visit us at It's Already In You Podcast on Instagram or email us at itsalreadyinyoupodcast@gmail.com.
We're so excited for this journey. We know that it's already in you and can't wait for our next episode to dive more into what is going to improve your life overall.